Hello, 6th grade BIT students. Today we're ready to start Unit 6. This is called Digital Citizenship. So let's go to modules like we do every unit in my class. We're going to start with modules. You should see a new module called Unit 6 Digital Citizenship. Digital citizenship is just a kind of fancy way to say making good decisions and being positive online. Just being a good person online, internet safety, making good decisions, being positive, and that's what we're going to learn. Now, when you're doing this unit, you may not see every step turned on. I may have some of them turned off because I don't want you working too far ahead, so it's just to help kind of pace you through this unit. So as you can see down here with steps 3, 4, and 5, I've broken this unit up into 3 different topics of study. We're going to talk about cyberbullying, identity theft, and sexting. So here's where you'll find the video you're watching with the video tutorial. We're going to start with step 1, Introduction to Digital Citizenship. So if you remember in step 5, we talked about how the internet was a network that connects millions of computers around the world. And when you're talking about a network connecting millions of computers and millions of people, whether adults and kids, that's an opportunity to create and accomplish awesome things, but it can also be a dangerous place. So we need to be able to, recognize what dangers are out there and how we can be safe and protect ourselves when we're on the internet. So in my class or in my meetings, we're going to watch this video right here together. And if you're doing this at home, you can watch it on your own. So it's a silly little video that shows a young man that makes some bad decisions online. So this is a video you can watch. And when you're done with the video, we can move on to the next page of the unit. So one of our goals with this unit is we're going to create a comic book. We're going to learn about the 3 topics: cyberbullying, identity theft, and sexting. And then you're going to create a comic book about one of those topics. And it's going to be an educational, informational comic book for middle school kids or younger that teaches them about your topic. But before you can create a comic book about, say, internet safety or, identity theft, cyberbullying, or sexting, we need to do some research and learn about this. So we're going to create a comic book to help others stay safe online. So to get started, we're going to open up a research guide to do some research. So you can see right here, it says click here to open your Internet Safety and Awareness Research Guide. And this is worth 21 points. So you want to make sure you get this done. And we're going to click on this assignment. And you're immediately going to be asked to make a copy. You want to make sure you're signed into your school Google account. So I'm going to open a new tab. I'm in my Google Drive. Notice I'm in the one that has the student, my school, gws.k12.in.us Google account. So you want to make sure you have this right here. That's your school Google account. And we're going to click Make a Copy. Now, once you have your copy of this, you will be able to answer some questions. And you can see that my first subject or topic is cyberbullying. I need to find out what is cyberbullying, what are 3 ways to prevent cyberbullying from happening, and what are 3 things we should do if we are cyberbullied or it does happen to us. So I'm going to go back to my Canvas and we're going to go to the next page. And here's what's cool about this is I have already Googled all of the websites that you need to go to answer these 3 sections for cyberbullying. So you'll notice step 3 is called Cyberbullying Research. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can use these resources to help you complete your research guide section on cyberbullying. You should never ever have to go to search on Google. All the answers you need are on the web pages below. Just browse each site until you find the answers you need. So I'm giving you the websites with the answers. You just have to go find them. Just think of it like a scavenger hunt or a game. Just go find the answers. So cyberbullying is bullying that takes place on digital devices. It's harassment, put downs, name calling, and it's repeated and it happens over and over. But it's done on a digital device of some kind, maybe a computer or laptop or a tablet or even cell phones. And now we're seeing it, happening in gaming consoles like on your Xbox and your PlayStation, whether it be through chats, voice chats in your parties, or through text messages where people are being cyberbullied. So in class, we're going to watch this video.
We spend lots of time online. We text.
And this video has a section talking about cyberbullying in the beginning. And then after that, there's a short movie here that you can watch that kind of shows you two sides to cyberbullying. And again, we'll watch this in class together, or you can watch it at home or on your own. So once you're done with this, we're going to go down here to the bottom, and we have these 4 websites that we're going to use to answer these 3 sections. The first one, and we'll zoom in just a little here, says, what is cyberbullying? So we're going to go back. We'll start with maybe the first resource. And you can see it says right here, what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. So I'm just going to type this definition right into my research guide. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, and tablets. Cyberbullying is bullying that takes place over digital devices, cell phones, computers, and tablets. So there we go. So next, we're going to look up what are ways to prevent from being cyberbullied. So I could go back and maybe we click on resource 2. And here's tips to prevent cyberbullying. You can see the very first one says educate yourself. So we want to use complete sentences, and I even wrote it on here. Make sure you use a complete sentence. We're talking capital letter, punctuation, a full sentence. So it says educate yourself. To prevent cyberbullying from occurring, you must understand exactly what it is. So let's write that in. Educate yourself so you know exactly what cyberbullying is. Got a complete sentence. And that's a way to prevent it, because if you don't know what cyberbullying is, you may not be able to recognize it to help stop it. So what we're going to do is you keep going through. We're going to look up the 3 ways to prevent it. We'll write those in. The next section says, what should you do if you're cyberbullied? And these are what you're going to do once it has happened. So we could go back, look at more resources. You can see right here, steps to take immediately. So there's some answers. You would type in what you find. I'll give you one right now. What should you do if you're cyberbullied? Well, we're middle school students. Our friends are middle school students. Tell a trusted adult. Whether that's a teacher, a parent, a guardian, grandparent, someone that you trust, you need to tell them so they can even help you get the help that you need. So we're going to fill in the next 2 of these just using the websites that I've given you. If you go down to resource 4, this is kind of an old newsletter, but it has great information that really hasn't changed. And if you scroll down, you have tips to prevent it and what to do if it happens to you. So resource 4 has a lot of good information. And when you have finished these 3 sections on cyberbullying, you'll be ready to move on to the next section, which is identity theft. So we'll just go down here and click on next. And now we're on identity theft research. Now, before we really get started on our identity theft research, we want to make sure we finished all of our cyberbullying research. And our research guide is now in our Google Drive because when we clicked make a copy, it made a copy into our school Google Drive account. So I'm going to open this up. I've finished all my cyberbullying research, and now I'm ready to go down and look at what is identity theft, what are 3 ways to prevent identity theft or having your identity stolen, and what should you do if you feel your identity has been stolen or someone's using your personal and private information without your permission. So we're going to go back over here to step 4. This is called identity theft resources and research. And in my class, we'll start by watching this video together.
Imagine a 5th grader who is already bankrupt or a 16-year-old in debt for houses and cars. Thieves have a new target, and we learned tonight that 1 in 10 American children is the victim of identity theft. 1 in 10.
So this is a video we'll watch in class, and identity theft is when someone uses your personal information without your permission, normally to commit fraud. And fraud is when someone lies and deceives to try to get money. It's really an identity theft wants to use your information to get money and not have to pay it back. So we're going to do the same thing we did with cyberbullying. We're going to go to our research guide. We're looking at what is identity theft, what are ways to prevent it, and what can we do to stop it. So I'm going to go down here. You should never have to go to Google. I've looked up good, valid information for you, and you can use these websites to complete your research guide. So we're going to go to the first link. What is identity theft? Identity theft is a serious crime. Identity theft happens when someone uses information about you without your permission. So we're going to go write that down. Identity theft happens when someone uses your information about you without your permission. So we have a complete sentence, and we're going to move on. What are ways to prevent online identity theft? So let's see if there's anything on here. What to know. We might be able to use this website. You can see, how do I know if someone steals? There's a lot of information, so we can look around there to fill it in. We can go here, see what resource number 2 has. And right down here, prevent it. Check your credit reports regularly. Before you discard documents and mail that contain your social security number, account numbers, and other personal information, shred them or tear them. So here's a couple. We can write in, what are ways to prevent it? Shred your trash that has personal information on it. And that is to prevent people from stealing your trash, and they may find information they could use to, use without your permission, try to get money in your name. So we could use this website. There's more down here of different things. Don't carry your social security card in your wallet and purse. So we can fill these in. Then we're ready to go on to the next one. What should you do if you feel your identity has been stolen? Now, obviously, since we're middle school students again, we're going to go ahead and say that you should tell a trusted adult. Because as we saw at the beginning of that video that I let play there just for a couple seconds, that it's happening to kids and their identities being stolen, and people are buying boats and houses and, in your name as a child. So you should tell a trusted adult if you think information about you is being used and you haven't given someone permission to do that. So once we fill all of these in, we're ready to go on to our next section called sexting. So work on this and we can move on to the next section when you're finished. So when you've used all 4 of these identity theft resources, I went ahead and finished my identity theft research. You want to find out what is identity theft, 3 ways to prevent it, 3 ways to stop it. When you finished all that, you're ready to move on to our final section and our final topic, which is sexting. So I'm going to go down and move on to the next page. Remember, don't move on to a new topic until you finished all your research, because this research guide is worth 21 points. So now we're on sexting, and you can see the format is again very similar. We're going to look at this video. We'll watch it in class and in our meetings. So we'll watch this video together.
This is the biggest mistake of my life.
19-year-old Allie is talking about sexting, and it's something you've probably
So
been
this is a
hearing
very
lot
serious
about
topic,
lately.
and we take it very serious. So we'll watch this video, we'll do a discussion, and then you're ready for your final topic of research, which is sexting. And again, you do not go to Google, you do not need to look any of this up. You can use my 4 resources that I've already looked up for you and to find your answers. The first one is, what is sexting? So we're going to go over here, we'll click on the first resource. The sending of sexually explicit digital images, videos, text messages, or emails, usually by cell phone. And this is just from dictionary.com. And we can just, I can maybe, change that around. The sending of inappropriate images and videos via email, text messages, and what else did they say? Videos, usually by cell phone. Usually by cell phones. So we need to look at what are ways to prevent sexting. So we'll go to our second ones, and there's several. First, think about the consequences before you send the picture. What is the worst that could happen? Think about that. So think about it before you ever even would consider sending an inappropriate image. Another one, never take the images of yourself. So let's go over here. That's a good one. What are ways to prevent sexting or becoming a victim? Never take inappropriate images of yourself in the first place. Then you never have to worry about who's going to get them, where they end up. Someone shares them online, someone sends them to a friend or to your, sports team. So you never have to worry about where that picture goes. Another one that's always really important is a way to prevent becoming a victim of sexting or identity theft or even cyberbullying is educate yourself about what sexting is. So you can recognize it and you'll understand this is wrong. And the more you know about it, the more informed decisions are going to make, so that you make better decisions online and responding to someone who may want you to send an inappropriate image. The final one is, what should you do if someone sexts you or wants to? And again, we've done this with each of them. We're middle school students. We're going to make a comic book for middle school students or younger. We should always tell a trusted adult. And we can go back over here and look at our resources of what we should do. You can see down here, these are more ways to prevent it. Go to the fourth resource. And you can scroll down. What should you do? Ask the person to delete the message. Talk to someone you trust. We already talked about it. If you're under 18, report it to the police. Report the image. Report the person. So we could go over here, report the image to police. And if someone, sexts you or wants to, you obviously do not respond to the person or send an image in the first place if they're asking. So you just finished doing the research here. What are ways to prevent? We said educate yourself, never take the photo, and have limits on social media use. There's right there. So we could set some limits on how you're using social media. So maybe we put that on how to prevent it. So that would include maybe that you're not allowed to send pictures, or you're not allowed to message people that you don't know, or contact people that you don't know, because most likely, some of those, prevention tips can help you just if you can't send images in the first place on social media. So we're now done with this research guide. It's 100% complete. You want to go through and make sure everything you wrote starts with a capital letter, has punctuation at the end, that it's a complete sentence, and you're going to get 1 point for every complete answer. So you'll have 21 things you were supposed to type in a complete sentence. If you have good, valid information and you have 21 things complete, you will get a 21 out of 21. So you can see as we go through here, everything's completed. And now I'm ready to go on to part 2, where we start to create our internet safety comic book.